The Summer Reading Challenge is produced by the Reading Agency and delivered in partnership with Kent Libraries. You can join the Summer Reading Challenge at your nearest open library for free.
Hello, we're from Tunbridge Wells Libraries. Have you joined the Summer Reading Challenge yet? If so, you will know that it's all about wild world heroes. We're inspired to look into looking after our natural world and how to look after the planet. This week we are looking at bees and how important they are. Did you know that there are 20,000 species of bees in every continent in the world except from Antarctica? And also, did you know that bees love lots of types of flowers? Would you like to enter our story writing competition? Well, have a listen to the beginning of the story. It's called the V.I.Bee, which stands for the very important bee. And then listen at the end to see how you can enter the competition.
The V.I.Bee. There was once a little bee. She seemed very ordinary. She had 4 wings, just the same as her other bee friends. She had yellow and black stripes, just the same. She flew as fast as the others, and she even buzzed just as loudly. But she had a special skill that no bee had discovered yet. Every bee in the hive at Chestnut Tree had a job to do. Some looked after the littlest bees. Some looked after the queen. Some did the cleaning. Some built and fixed up the honeycomb. Some collected nectar and pollen. Some collected water. Some made the honey, and some guarded the hive from danger. Once the young bees were old enough, they would each be assigned a task to do. Soon it would be Little Bee's day to find out what task she'd been given. She could hardly wait. At night time, Grandma Bee, the oldest bee in the whole hive, would gather around all the youngest bees and tell them stories. She would tell them about how when she was young, the world outside their hive was filled with colourful wild flowers, meadows that stretched for miles and miles, and how they used to make honey tasting of all the flavours you could possibly imagine. Times were trickier now, and it was getting harder and harder to find nectar and pollen. Sometimes the bees that went out collecting never made it home because they got confused with all the noise and fumes outside and couldn't find their way home again. Or they'd get so tired after flying so long without enough food or water for a long journey. These stories made Little Bee feel curious. She wanted to help all the bees in the hive, but she was so little and she didn't know how. The night before she was to find out what job would be hers, Grandma Bee beckoned Little Bee over to her and whispered in her ear, "You're special, I can see. Though we all live together as one in this tree, you alone will help us, Little Bee." The morning of the announcement, Little Bee was feeling nervous. When it was her turn, she carefully stepped up to face the Queen Bee, who handed her a badge. On the badge, it said, "You decide what job the Queen Bee has given her. You decide how Little Bee helps her hive. What do you think should be Little Bee's special skill? And how will Little Bee become the very important bee?" Bzzz. You decide how this story ends.
You could do some writing, create a storyboard, a comic strip, illustrate the story, write a poem, paint a scene from the story, or even make a short film. Send your entries to susan.rogers@kent.gov.uk.